So I call the meeting to order. Tree Board, March 18th,
Okay.
2026. So stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right. Okay, so does everybody approve of the draft agenda? Or you can take a look through it and see if you want to add or change anything.
I think this is good.
Candace, did you want to add the one topic? The
Bradford. The Bradford Pear. Yeah, can we addend this to add as new business the North Carolina Bradford Pear Bounty Program? It's 6.4.
And approval of the minutes. Oh, we need to.
we have to approve.
Yeah. So
I make a motion to approve the draft agenda along with the added 6.4.
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so next part is the minutes. So you take a look at them. Okay, does anybody want to make any changes?
I don't have any.
No. I move that we accept the minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so old business. Okay, so first of all, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but someone needs to be a secretary. I don't know if anybody wants to be the secretary.
I'll do it.
Okay. I've been the secretary in other groups, so, and every meeting we had to correct mistakes that apparently I made, but it's okay.
Once I get
I won't be that picky.
Once I get the audio thing.
Yeah, you can watch it.
Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube. Also, you can, while watching it on YouTube, you can hit a transcript button that's on it, or you can pull just text of everything that they're going to.
That would be good. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so if you can keep the notes, that'd be great.
Yep.
So sweet. All right. Educational opportunities. The notes I'm reading about that is an update from Candace and Becky. So I don't know if you guys want to talk about that.
Well, I'll start and feel free to add in it. Last meeting we had talked about getting together with Amy Goodrich, the events coordinator, to talk about some our proposal for educational opportunities, and then she was working on a budget proposal, so she would be aware. And so one of the things we had proposed was that the tree board would try to twice a year hold some kind of an educational workshop for the community, probably at the community center building, and it might be on topics like how to keep your trees healthy, how to prune a tree properly, maybe how to plant a tree, but a variety of topics. And Amy was in agreement, and those were put in the budget. And I can't remember the exact amount, but a small amount, something like $250 or something per workshop was approved. In the event that we might need an honorarium to cover a speaker's expenses or something, and supplies for the meeting.
Okay.
Was there more that?
So otherwise, we really just talked about the events that are already planned. So Green Wave, Sunset at Sunset, the markets, if we decide to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
with planning in the summertime, we do have a lot of visitors with children. So even we talked about potentially doing a children's event in the park during the summer. We also talked about as one of our workshops that we would go to the park and kind of do a walk and talk, do some tree identification. When we have some tree inventory information, we can share, the value and benefits of the public trees in our town. So we really just got together and kind of did some brainstorming beyond what we've already done. So those are our thoughts for 2026, and we need to expand on those, and we'll meet again and get more detail. A lot of opportunities for education.
There really are, and it's kind of exciting. I think people in the community are really interested in the trees, and we're hoping since we're really a tree board for the trees in the public space, that we can educate people to take better care of trees in the private space.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so I guess from a follow-up, then I guess we should just follow up with Amy and see if she has a budget or something, or pick.
Well, I don't think they're still in the budgeting process. Budget hasn't been approved, but I think she did put through a proposal, and
Okay.
It's under consideration.
Okay.
So I think the follow-up is, it's early spring. However, we should start planning that fall workshop.
Right.
Because we're going to want to get, I think, advance notice. I think during summertime we should be advertising it for fall.
And to work on getting the speaker and
Right.
whatever supplies we need.
Right. And if we decide to do some sort of children's program, even if it's just a real hour, again, we can get together and talk
It'd be
through
fun to do something
that.
in the summer, and you figure there's so much activity going on around the 4th of July. Maybe there's something in a little quieter part in there where we could do something for kids.
Yeah.
I really liked your idea for the walk in the park.
Yeah, I think that would get a lot of interest.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
So I think we can continue to work on that and pull in
So-
people when
I was not here last month. Did we get the tree? I'm assuming we're getting the Tree City USA.
Yes, we got the designation. We're having the celebration on Friday. It's our Arbor Day celebration, and
Okay.
the plaque will be presented and talked about, and what the Tree City USA is all about.
Okay.
So there's an agenda there, but that's later, I guess, in our agenda. We can cover details of it.
I just didn't see it. Okay. So, I mean, that sounds good. I think the education part's good. I think we get a lot of interest because of all the clear cutting of all the other lands, not in Sunset, but all over the area. So, okay. Any more about the educational opportunities?
I think
Yeah.
that's all for now.
Okay, the second item I have here is a tree inventory, and the notes are Susan had briefed, I guess, Becky on email about action she has taken, so I don't.
Yeah, she also provided for our agenda, within our agenda packet today, a description, her update essentially of what she's worked on, and she's really gotten some energy going.
Great job of
So yay,
getting these
Susan.
maps for
Yeah.
us.
Oh, is it right? Okay. So-
Yeah, so I'll just cover it briefly. She met with Loretta Womack from the town, and there are maps that are included here in our packet. And essentially, it's showing the primary areas that we should consider starting the tree inventory. They're the town park areas, so she kind of repeats it, but Sunset Beach, Majestic Oaks, the trees located on the town park, she has it 3 times, the gazebo plantings, so that would be the planting
On the
in
island.
yes, on the island, which is really that strip, I think, in between the parking areas, as well as, I'm not sure at the gazebo itself if someone else maintains that. I was thinking someone else maintained that, but
I think Sunset Vision has done some things with the plantings there, but I do believe it's the town's property, and I think also the parking strip has some trees. They might be palm trees or something. I think there's trees in there, and maybe along the edges. So,
okay,
good place to think about.
okay.
You're talking about
So-
this map here, then?
Well, she's got a description here, but the maps support her list of 1 through 5. So yes, there's also the properties, the town hall, the fire station. There are other municipal areas the town owns. in her research, and we've kind of talked about this in our past meetings, most streets are not, they're state streets, they're not town streets. So they're the property, responsibility of either the property owner or the state. But the town does have the authority to rectify any dangerous situation as needed. She had some discussion around the easements area, and he's just kind of clarifying for us that an easement's not town property, it belongs to the owner of record. So that's a consideration. If there are trees in the easements, they're not town trees, they're private property trees. There's just an easement there. She mentions that the island has very few trees that would be considered as town trees on the streets, and the trees with the HOAs are not town trees. So we kind of had some discussion at our last meeting about that. She was thinking that we needed to pull them in. Now she has the understanding that we don't. They're not town trees. She does talk specifically about the state roads. The question remains, Sunset Beach does not maintain these roads. She was thinking, or in her research, maybe found out that the outside contractors for the town does that maintenance for gardening, for the traffic circle, and at the bridge. So there are some palm trees and crepe myrtles along the bridge access that get maintained. Also on Sunset Boulevard on the island, those were planted by the town. And then the town does maintain the gazebo planting along the center of the parking lot. So that's town-owned, not state-owned, is what she states in here. So she just has a note that we need to determine which areas of the state roads we would consider town trees, and I'll get to it later, so if we can come back to that. Sitting in on the 904 project, I had a conversation with some of the state transportation of department employees that were there about those responsibilities. So there's a potential there in the future. Maybe after we prioritize these first kind of 5 areas that she's listed, that might be the area to focus on. And so from her perspective, and I think we've kind of talked about this a couple times, next steps would be to reach out to the Forest Service. We met with Justin Bennett, I don't know, 6-8 months ago. He mentioned that they could potentially help us with some training regarding the tree inventory. So she suggested that we talk about that today, whether we have Justin back, and then any other ideas that we have related to how do we go about understanding, what's necessary for the inventory, who would do the inventory, where would we start, really putting together pretty much an objective and almost a specification for how we would go about doing the tree inventory. I also had an idea. There are companies out there that do this for a living, and even just to educate us. So I'm just going to throw Davy Resource Group out there, as they do tree inventories. We could invite them in, even just to make a presentation on, okay, what's the realm of possibility? How would we go about doing this? There may be other local companies as well that I'm not aware of that we could research. So we had talked about at our last meeting. Susan has taken this and is really interested in moving forward with it. She would need some assistance, so if somebody else wants to join her, so we could kind of work in pairs on some of this. That would be an approach to, what are our next steps? Do we have a couple of presenters come in and give us some different ideas to help us formulate a plan?
Yeah, that sounds good. I guess my vision of it would be like, we get the public trees all identified. Maybe the roads are like state roads might be a gray area, but there's still, people don't know the difference. But I mean, I'm just wondering how we would count that. And then, eventually I think we should have a guidance for all the private trees, because there's a ton of those. I mean, I think it looks like from that picture it's a very small area of trees that we're talking about.
The only thing there is that, I mean, really our charge as tree board is to address the public trees. And I get it, I think that's a big bite, just the public trees. If we can do that and get that done by even next year.
Yeah, we should set a goal on a timeline probably to get it
Well,
done.
I think that's where we need the help of a consultant or someone, because we have no idea.
What it's going to take to get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
There's also funding available through the state. that we missed the boat this year.
Mhm.
Really we just formed last April, and we've
Yeah.
worked on a lot of other things. So we're really
Mhm.
just starting this, but there's the potential to explore that more. And it has a lot of requirements to lay out a plan,
Mhm.
even hiring a consultant to do the work itself. But there's funding available, so I think that's something that the tree inventory team, if you will, could explore and see if that's something viable that we want to pursue.
How does one do a tree inventory? Just roughly, I mean,
We don't know. That's why we-
that's a,
That's why we need a
we have no
consultant.
idea at all.
Well,
Justin came and gave us a little introduction, but
sure, and they offer different
Mhm.
methods. So um, you could do a sampling, which when it comes to writing maintenance plans, really, again, this is Becky's opinion. I think we need to do 100%
I
inventory.
think we're too small for sample to be
Yeah, I think it's,
meaningful.
I agree.
So
I would think we do the whole, I mean, looking at
also-
that map, it doesn't look like a huge area, but maybe I'm missing
he
something.
also I can say recommended, he said that there's a possibility to do the aerial
Drone.
survey, however you would do it, but that way you could identify from the air which trees might be a drone, but at least to get some idea that way. Again, I don't think we really know what it takes to do that, so
So really, I think what we would be interested in is how many trees do we have? What are the tree species? What are the health of the tree? Um, does it need to be maintained, removed? Um, is it the right tree in the right place to be blocking signage or hanging over the street? So I guess that kind of comes in the
getting
risk,
utility lines.
yeah, in the risk category. Um,
And there may be opportunities to plant new trees as we're looking.
yeah, space for absolutely. So I think part of this, the tree inventory is a goal to enhance and increase the urban canopy here in Sunset Beach. So it's just, I think, is as much as once we have a means to collect the information, even if it's a Excel spreadsheet with a map, because if we want the location of the tree and we want to be able to go, return to it and identify, okay, this is a tree that was, the live oak and it was 22 inches in diameter and it's healthy, or, if there's another that, needs maintenance or this tree's at risk, it has heavy decay, we may want to consider removal. We're going to want to know where those trees are at. So do we collect that on paper maps? Do we have some sort of technology like a GIS database that through a vendor or contractor, they could collect all that and give the town that information? So I think we can go as rudimentary to there's a lot of technology out there, but I think we need to educate ourselves to understand what we want to pursue.
That was important, what you just said before. That one line can justify a lot. What we do with people is enhance and increase the tree count. When somebody says, why the heck are you doing that?
Mhm.
There's your reason right there.
Sure.
There might be some open public land that has no trees, right?
Well,
So
that's
we
what
count
she's
them
saying
all.
about an opportunity for new trees.
Yeah, I'd put new
Yeah.
trees in there, maybe.
That's why the new land should be included in the inventory, even if there's no trees on it.
And having that geospatial database to see where that land is as
Very
we
helpful.
plant, then that new tree can go in the database and
Very
we can
helpful.
keep track of it when it needs pruned, all those types of things. Again, that's super, detailed, but ultimately the goal is to have a maintenance plan that then, the town can take as a recommendation of, okay, we've got X number of trees that need to be pruned this year, X number that need to be removed, and our goal is to plant X. And then, these are the results of what we have.
So Becky, what do you think the next immediate goal to continue on tree inventory is? I mean, one is to get Susan somebody to work with, and I mean, I'll help her as much as I can. The ERC's kind of swamped right now with the Green Wave and our events, but
Sure.
I'm sure I have some time I can help her.
Well,
And we've got the quorum issue here that it can only be two of us at a time.
yeah. And you're already doing education with Candace, so
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I think maybe we should
One of us to help out,
have someone else.
I'll
But
be back full time in May.
okay. I
I
think
mean, yeah. I'm not going to probably miss any meetings unless I just plan forward. April was, I thought it was going to be.
can't-
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, in my mind, like, how many trees, based on this town, how many trees do we have? How many should we have? What areas lacking trees? Like the beach has no trees, right?
See, I think you're right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard that beating. I thought it was my heart. I was like, no. I mean, like,
Hmm.
for example, like you drive into here into Sunset Beach, you see a ton of trees. Like a lot of other areas, you don't see any. Like on the mainland, on the island, there's no trees. Like there are those few of those old pine trees and some palm trees, but you don't see a lot of live oaks on the island. Maybe there's a reason for it, but no,
You got to look at the reasons why you don't see many.
the wind. I don't know.
What trees are not going to thrive there?
Right. But I guess my point is like part of the outcome of the inventory should be like, okay, here's what we have. Have they been here forever? And they're just legacy trees that have been since the town was developed, or should we have plantings of new trees because have gaps? What trees should we get rid of? That would be interesting.
Bradford pears. Get rid of the
I had a Bradford pear in my house, and I think little limbs came off. I don't know. It's not.
Take it down, the state will give you new. We'll talk about that when we get to that program.
Anyway,
So to answer your question, I think the next step is to get Susan some help, and then I
Mhm.
think it is just to help us get grounded. It would be great to have a couple. Justin come back in. It would be great to have maybe one consultant come in and just give us a pitch, I guess.
The Davy Tree Company, they do tree inventories as far as you know.
Yeah. So they have a branch. It's called Davy Resource Group. So they're
Mhm.
actually like a technology branch of the Davy Tree Company. There's others as well, I'm sure. Again, in this area, I think the twosome that take this on can research that, and I will be happy to help as well.
Yeah.
And I think this is really important work that Susan did from the
Yeah,
beginning because we have to
she's
know
done a
where the
great
town
job.
land is. Yeah.
I think if we're looking at pulling in like an outside group to give some kind of a pitch, we probably need to run that past the chief and as the town administrator and
That's fine.
What is
see what
the
his thoughts are.
schedule to do funding with the state? When do you have to submit?
It was March 1st.
Oh, okay.
So we'd be
Of this
sitting for
year.
the next time around.
Yeah.
And it's possible there's other grants out there that we're not
I
aware
can't
of.
imagine
Yeah.
our grant would be as large as like maybe some other large city or something that was doing
No,
that.
but we're not inventorying New York City, we're inventorying Sunset Beach.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be smaller.
Yeah,
All right.
And
Okay.
maybe pitch is the wrong word, Candace. It's really tell them that we're interested in doing a street or to do a tree inventory and
whatever the
See
word
if they
is,
would
just
come in
because
to
we're
talk
we're
to us.
asking somebody to come in from outside, we need
Sure.
to figure out the right way to do
Sure.
that.
No, I understand that. That makes absolute sense. And, they have experience with other communities.
Yeah,
And I'm familiar with them in my prior work. So that's the only reason I mentioned
Yeah.
them specifically. But there could be somebody very local that does this type.
and I don't mind, I don't care who they are, maybe it's 2 or 3 groups come in and say, here's how
Sure.
we've done it in the past, just to give us some thoughts.
Sure. Well, Susan mentioned it too. So there are 3 other Tree City USA designated communities in Brunswick County.
Mhm.
It's Southport, Oak Island, and Carolina Shores.
Yeah.
So one of us could reach out to them and just say, hey, have you done this already? If so, how did you do it?
Mhm.
And, that's something that if we can learn from others' experiences, I think, that have that designation. Because really, once you receive the Tree City USA designation,
Mhm.
this is what it's all about, where we're headed, and that's where others are going as well. And I think
What were
one
the
of them,
3 towns?
it's Oak Island,
Oak Island.
Carolina
Southport.
Shores, and Southport.
And I also saw there was a presentation I attended in Pine Knoll Shores. That's up in Emerald Isle area, and there was 2 towns up there that had tree boards. They were talking about what they did. video. It was a presentation. Well, I saw the presentation live. They taped it. I think I sent it to everybody.
And I'll check with the Cooperative
Oh.
Extension and see if there's anybody there that has experience with like a tree inventory, and if they have any recommendations.
Okay.
I think it'd be good. Like, I think it's great to do a tree inventory. Then what do we do with that? What's the point of it? Are we going to track them? Are we going to add more trees, take trees away? I mean,
always
I would think like on the island, like I said, there's probably certain trees that survive on the island that wouldn't be on the mainland that we
So
lack.
South Carolina did a study on which trees survived in kind of their more wetland, the susceptible areas, susceptible to flooding during
Mhm.
hurricanes.
Mhm.
And they found the three that, if I can recall them, live oaks, which is why we have them here,
Mhm.
bald cypress.
Mhm.
What was the third one? What's a common tree out there? Cedars, red cedars.
Yeah.
So, and when you think about the island, what do you see out there? You see cedar trees. You can call them old pine trees, but they're old, for the most part, old cedar trees. There's a few live oaks out there, and I don't
Is it
recall
like
seeing bald
loblolly
cypress out there,
pine or
but they're
something? There's a pine.
Loblolly
loblollies
pine?
are tall, but
No, it's a pine tree that is
loblollies are tall. You might be thinking of the longleaf pine too.
longleaf pine. There's
Yeah,
a pine
both.
tree that's like native to the coast on the islands that has been diminishing. I'm saying it'd be nice to
Yeah.
have more tree vegetation on the island,
Yeah.
the actual island. Not
Well, as
we
we were
would
looking
agree.
at majestic oaks, that's one of the
We have
main
one
things we
tree.
were looking at. What can survive out here?
So they should
And
like,
what could we encourage people to plant?
right?
So they'd know these are other varieties.
Well, that's what we'd have to do. I mean, if you're going to put
Yeah.
new trees in a certain area, you've got to track and see which ones are surviving.
Right.
Yeah.
Down the
Right.
road.
So
So I don't know if they compare, like if we do an inventory, do they compare it to like say, oh, you're healthy, unhealthy, here's what you're missing compared to other places. I mean, I don't know if they, is that outcome?
I believe when Justin was here, he talked about the fact that different areas there's different percentages of trees, and that's one indication of health. And so that we can probably get information from the Forest Service
Mhm.
about for our area, because he sent Becky some specific information on coastal trees. What would you expect to see in a healthy environment? Because it shouldn't be all live oak, which
Yeah, that's one of the things, I'm
and
glad
it
you brought
shouldn't
that
be
up.
crepe myrtles.
We don't want to plant a monoculture, all one species, because if you get something like the emerald ash borer or Dutch elm disease, it's going to wipe out all the trees.
Kills
So
all the- yeah.
diversity is very important as we come up with a tree replacement plan or
Mhm.
initial plantings. We need to think about that, and the tree inventory will give us, because then we can sort and sum, our percentages of trees by species,
Right.
so we can see, maybe we really don't want to plant any more live oaks. We need to plant some other species.
Mhm.
I think we should try to get the inventory done ASAP, We could wait another year for funding, but I just think we should,
How would
you
you
get the-
recommend we go ahead?
I'm not an expert at it, but I would say we probably get the advice from these other groups and see what we can and can't do. Because I mean, that park, you can count it in an hour, right? The park. I mean, there's not that many trees there.
Carolina Shores is right next door. Maybe if we reached out to them and asked somebody to come to the next meeting,
Sure.
go over this with them.
I'll take that as an action item and see if they've done a tree inventory. I mean, I'll reach out to all three of them
Mhm.
and see what they've done.
Just ask them to come to the meeting and
Mhm.
tell us about it.
Sure.
There
Is
you go.
that another one we need to run by the chief with other
Not unless they
communities?
charge us.
I don't think
I
that's
don't
so
think
much
so.
because they're coming providing information.
Okay.
And I realize if a consultant came in that they're providing information, but there's a possibility of coming back later for fee, not
Right.
necessarily for just coming to talk to us, but
Hmm.
I'd hate to see us ensnaring the town in something.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I think
Totally
we should
agree.
just ask them to come to the meeting. I don't see why
Yeah,
that's gonna hurt.
If he's not charging us, I don't see where there's an issue. So we don't have to take their recommendations.
Right.
Yeah, so Becky's going to work on that. Thank you.
Yeah.
When
It's
does
a
Susan come back?
fact-finding mission. She should be back next month.
Okay.
I think she's just gone this week, actually. She's
Okay.
in
I
Arizona.
might send her a
Alright.
note and see if there's something I can do to help right now.
Okay.
All right, we kind of beat that one pretty good.
Mhm.
Is there any more comments on the tree inventory?
Mm.
I just, overall, I think we should just like try to move forward and then pick a date and then try to get like some advice from some people and then just go out and count them.
Well, you have to be able to identify, measure, assess its health, so we need some training.
Yeah, that's true.
We
Yeah,
can't
I
just,
can't,
We need to get, if we're going to bring somebody in from companies and have them give us, do we need to get bids from each one so that we have enough bids to go to the council and say, look, these are the companies we looked at?
I don't think that's something we
Yeah, I
would
think-
do. I think they'd have to put, if the council wanted to proceed with something like that, I think they have to put out like an RFP or something.
Oh, okay.
we
So
would just make
we
a
don't want to get that
recommendation
far.
So it may,
Right.
Okay.
of how we
know-
would foresee pursuing a tree inventory, whether it's training from the state. I think we would just figure out our plan and then make that recommendation. And if it entails getting a consultant to do that for us, then we
Mhm.
would make that recommendation and they would
Go
take it
from
from
there.
there,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, it might be we just identify the trees ourselves, and then as far as the health and all that stuff goes, I mean, we could see, we think this tree's sick. This guy, I mean, I can go around my yard and look at all the trees. I can't, one of them.
Well, I think, and I can't remember if you brought it up at this meeting or maybe at one of our subgroup meetings about maybe getting some education in how do you identify what the
Yeah, that'd
tree
be
is
good.
and what the diseases are.
there's a lot of, I mean, I do it all the time. There's a lot of YouTube videos that are for free. You can I mean, I don't know if there's anything.
They're not all accurate though. You want
Well,
somebody to come in where there's
Oh
some
yeah,
acknowledgement that they
in a
know what they're
perfect
talking
world,
about.
yes, I agree. I agree.
If
I
we're
agree
talking
there.
about spending money here and bringing people in to do things like that, I would think we would want a licensed arborist to
Absolutely.
give us the advice on what was healthy and what
Maybe we know
wasn't.
one.
She's the only one though. We need a few more than that.
Are you a licensed?
know
are you a
somebody?
licensed-
She is.
I was certified, yeah.
Well, there you go. That qualifies.
That might be something else. I wonder if because the extension does training on all kinds of agricultural issues. And actually, I don't know if you guys remember, and this is something coming back again, is that crepe myrtle bark scale.
YouTube.
We had one of their people come down and take a look at some of the tree health issues here, and they have a lot of expertise. They may actually be able to do a presentation, and they wouldn't charge, and then we could just arrange for them to come.
Sure.
Even if we did it as a special meeting and open it to other people in the community who
Mhm.
might want to attend and learn something more about trees.
Sure. I mean,
So
I think
I'll check that too.
okay, that sounds great, Candace. And I think individually, if we do some research on our own, outside of this meeting on the
Mhm.
inventory, and then we have some presentations, I think then we'll know enough to be able to say or come to a conclusion collectively of this is, our recommendation of how to move forward. Those are my thoughts anyway.
Mhm.
Okay. So we'll keep working on the tree inventory.
Okay.
The next item I have here is Arbor Day celebration. I guess it's this Friday, right?
Yeah, it's this Friday. It's at the Fire Station 1 at 11 o'clock. And I just wanted to confirm, so John and Candace and I are going to be there,
Mhm.
and you're out of town, Steve, correct?
I'm not going to be here.
Okay, and Susan's out of town, so it'll be the three of us.
And there were others from the ERC that are planning to go. I believe Kathy said she was going
Oh,
to try to
great.
go, and I think Steve Hines is going.
Okay, great.
So
So just sort of the agenda that I talked about with Amy, the fire chief will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to welcome everyone, kind of give a history of Arbor Day and talk about the Tree City USA designation. And then our mayor is going to make some remarks and he'll read the Arbor Day proclamation. And then I'll introduce the tree plantings. So Candace and I did some research and we actually met with Amy and some of it wasn't the fire chief, but some representatives from,
at Public Works. and
Public Works and the
Fire
fire
Department.
were there. So we determined where to plant it,
Mhm.
and we're going to be planting a butterfly magnolia. So we'll be planting that together. So the mayor, those members of town council that will be attending,
Mhm.
as well as those of us that will be attending. And Amy has the press coming, so they will want to get some pictures of us planting the tree. And then once we get the tree planted, we'll just thanks everybody for coming. So that's the long and short. It'll, it's not going to be very long. It's just really to celebrate Arbor Day and talk about our Tree City designation. So
That's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Do you have enough shovels?
I believe so.
Good.
Amy's working on that.
They got signs at the entrance to Sunset Beach that says Tree City.
Are they already up?
Yeah,
They're already up.
I mean, the signs are up
I
saying.
know, I haven't
Oh,
seen any
there
signs.
is one up, at least on 904. I haven't been on the other entrances, so I
Oh,
know at
really?
904.
Yeah.
and it says Tree City. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Okay.
904 as you come into town, like,
Yeah. So I think it's right at where the Sunset Beach sign is.
Okay.
So that's like right before ABC,
yeah.
near the sanctuary, right in that area.
Thanks. I'm going to look for it. That's good news.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so any more comments on the Arbor Day celebration? Okay, moving to the partnerships and sponsorships. It says Alliance Cape Fear Trees, but anyway. If you guys want to comment on that.
Maybe I'll give a really quick history. And you may recall, because at the very first Earth Day that we did 6 years ago, I can't remember when it was. I think this might be the 6th event, although I think 2 were canceled for weather. Anyhow, we had invited the Alliance for Cape Fear Trees to come,
Okay.
and their representative came, lovely, lovely person. But like every other organization, they're strapped for funding and volunteers. And she expressed at the time they'd be interested to work with us if we had some volunteers that could help and if we could work some things for fundraising. And then since then, Christy Batchelor reached out to them, and I think to see if they could contribute trees for the Green Wave. And I think you got the same information, essentially, right? That they needed. Yeah. But that they needed funding and grants and yeah. Yeah. That that the Cape Fear Alliance for Trees finishes their plantings by, I guess, the end of March, because of the ideal time for planting would be in the earlier spring, so they don't plant trees or do giveaways after that point. So it might be something we'd have to look at doing for Arbor Day and not for an Earth Day kind of event,
Right.
which would be nice.
So we talked about potentially we could reach out to them and
Right.
explore partnership with them.
Mhm.
Even maybe have them at a future meeting as we delve more into partnerships and sponsorships.
Yeah, so as far as sponsorships, I know we're asking people to contribute to the Greenway. So, maybe some of these companies, I'd say builders and things like that, could potentially be, sponsor. Yep. Tree for the our tree board. Get sponsorships. Use that for plantings or whatever else.
What's your experience, Steve? You've done a lot of work with sponsorships. What's your experience with those people getting exhausted with us asking? Do they? I mean, is that an issue? Or are they just used
No,
to
I
it?
mean, my main, I think, my experience was, I think I described this before. I mean, I worked in technology,
Mhm.
all the IT for state and local government. And they were running out of money, and I suggested to them that they have sponsors for their events. And
Right.
basically, it's actually become a huge success because they fund their whole show and fund everything. My opinion would be like some of these companies are coming in, and I don't know how deep their pockets are, but they don't have to do a huge sponsorship. But these guys are cutting down 100,000 trees, even though it's on private property. Like what they cut, Ryan Holmes has cut down all those trees in Sea Trail. My only point would be it's a small token for them, maybe to provide something on a regular basis as a donation to show their good faith. I don't think it's an issue for them. I mean, it's a rounding error. I mean, I wouldn't expect that I'm not talking about them giving us thousands of dollars, but maybe they give us $500 for different events that we come up with. I think we have to have like a specific thing. We maybe so we came up with the Earth Day Arbor Day Festival with ERC, and then we called it the Green Wave, and now it's going to be something every year. And so every year the same people, and you add to the sponsorship, they provide a small amount of money. I mean, they're selling $300,000 homes for $500,000, and they're building hundreds of them. I mean, I don't think it's a big ask for them to donate something for a good cause. But we have to delineate what that is so they feel good about it. So like if I go to Lennar and say, hey, or DR Horton to say, would you give us a donation? We'll say here's what we're gonna use it for. Plant trees during Arbor Day Festival. I don't think it's too much to ask.
Okay.
I mean, some of these.
I mean, you have experience that we don't have, so it's interesting to hear that perspective.
You had all these corporations selling to the public sector, and these show events for like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per sponsor. They got a booth and they would do a presentation, and it funded their whole event. But then it gives them access to. But I'm looking at them as like, okay, they're building all these homes. You could argue whether or not it's bad for the environment, right? But whatever, they're going to do it. They own the property. But I think it's a small token to ask them for a donation. I don't think it's.
Well, we can invite all their new homeowners who don't have any trees.
Well, I think,
I'm saying they're landscaping, and most of them now, at least if it's in the town,
a lot of them,
our ordinances
a lot of
require
developments on
replacement.
outside the town, but then you've got over here that Logan Homes is building a bunch of homes, and then you've got Ryan building I mean, they ripped down. I was there. They ripped down 1 million trees, and I said I was on a tree board, and all these people beat me up like I'm responsible for this.
Well, I appreciate your perspective.
No, I don't think it's a big deal. I think maybe you have 2 events you ask them to a year. You have the Arbor Day Festival maybe, and then the Green Wave, and you ask them for money.
Well, it might be helpful as you're kind of looking at our agenda and things that are coming up, to think if there's places where sponsorships would apply. I wonder if we could get the sponsorships for a consultant to come in and talk to us.
Yeah.
Somebody to sponsor.
I think we need
we
need to have a detailed description of what we're asking for.
Yeah.
Rather than just say, give us money.
Well, that's why I'm asking, is that something that you feel like you could do?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have any problem doing it.
Because I think that would help us to know what are the opportunities of the things that we're working on that would be appropriate to ask a sponsor to help with.
I think that feeds into one of our new business topics of developing that kind of
that relationship.
Well, it says executive summary here, but really it's a strategic plan for, what is it that we want to accomplish, objectives. We have our objectives for 2026, and I think underneath that, so we want to develop partnerships and sponsorships. Now we need to put together some tasks of, okay, what are those?
Yeah.
So we need to drill down into the detail. I mean, we talked about BEMC, right tree, right place. So if we do a workshop in the fall, they could potentially, maybe be a contributor both in presence as well as funding for something for that. That's just one example.
I think our one of our objectives should be to steer the growth of trees throughout the entire community. I mean, in other words, we only responsible for the public trees, but then all these people that have yards, we should provide advice to them on what they could put in their yard based on what we should have in our area, right? You mentioned different types of trees, not everyone gets the same exact tree. And then we say, we could have a partnership with a tree nursery that sells trees to the individuals and say, hey, here's the 5 trees you should be
See,
putting.
that's helpful.
Yeah,
I didn't
use
think
and
about
use.
partnering with a nursery. Yeah, I could.
That's what I would do. Yeah, I'd be like, hey, you talk to 4 nurseries and say, do you want to partner with us?
Mhm.
You could say all 4 of them could, so you're not
Yeah.
excluding anybody. But I think a lot of the stuff that's here in Sunset Beach just kind of evolved to what it is. I don't think was plans for like yards. I mean, we didn't tell them. So like, what's in my yard was there for 200 years because
Mhm.
there's like these live oaks. I haven't planted anything.
I think too, I think the town can be the role model. And when we get our house in order with an inventory and our plans, and we've developed that tree list, that's
Mhm.
something, that's the educational piece. Then we can share that information to ultimately get at what you mentioned, the private landowner that
Yeah.
maybe they're, like me from the north, don't understand the plants that grow well down here. And here's a tree list that is tried and true, the tree board recommends for this
Mhm.
area. I think that we can pass that knowledge on, but I do think that we can be the role model, or
That goes
we
in,
have to
Yeah, at least
figure
some
out our own house
educational source,
first.
too.
that goes in conjunction with in the ERC, we're talking about protection of planting seagrasses around lakes, right?
Right.
But then we had a presentation last year where people, put $100,000 seawall in, and the seawall actually is
Aggravates.
bad for the environment.
Yeah.
What ends up happening is when there's a storm, the waves actually come behind the seawall and dig it out. Doesn't do any good, and they have to replace it. You could put in seagrasses, so you could have. We recommend you get seagrasses instead of putting in a seawall, and then you get these trees based on the tree board for
Yeah.
your yard.
Didn't they just get approval for more seawall over that private community over on the island? Palms or whatever it is?
Yeah, I don't know.
Something in the paper about
But
it.
my neighbors on my street, I mean, I don't have a seawall, thank goodness. We have a natural plant landscape, but I have live oaks and everything on my yard. But it's all natural, like all the seagrass is natural. So versus my neighbor across the street's putting in a huge house. He's very wealthy. He's ripping down one, putting a new one, just put in a massive seawall. But I think we could, between the 2 groups, we have a plan for like seagrasses for the seawall, trees for the yard. All right, not a plan, but like here's what we think you could do.
So we talked about having a couple people devoted to partnerships and sponsorships, and we didn't want to assign without you all being here. So is that
I
something
don't
you'd
mind
be
it.
interested
Yeah,
in?
that's
I
fine.
think Susan was really interested in that, too.
So the
wasn't
first,
she?
I mean, the
Think
first
so.
year we worked with that Hughes nursery to provide all these trees.
Mhm.
And I get these little like tiny things that are this big that we bought, and then last year they had
Mhm.
those really robust
Yeah.
grasses. I mean, that was nice. They were big.
Yeah. It was
But
nice.
those are nice, yeah. But I mean, it's to their benefit because they'll sell more stuff.
Yep. But are
Yeah, I
we-
would do that. I would work on that. I have no problem doing that.
Okay.
I used to do inventories all the time of manufacturing plants, but not trees. That was the worst.
Same process.
Are you interested in working on any parts of that?
Sure. Again, only after May 15th.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Well, it's
maybe-
only a month, but
Okay. Are we going on to the?
The
yeah,
next
so I don't
topic?
mind being involved with the sponsorships and partnerships. And
All right,
Are we
Go on.
moving on to the
suggested
of-
rules.
procedure?
we kind of went through this. Maybe Candace, you do a rundown on it because you did a pretty good rundown in the last meeting we had on that.
Well, we had gone through and did the revisions, and then, of course, there was a change in the administrative support has sort of changed things a little bit, but one of our council members was there this morning and explained that we didn't have a complete understanding of what they wanted. So I'm not sure if it'll be the same for tree board, and you may know better, but that the assistant town clerk, I guess, will still put our packets together for us and put, she'll do, if we give her the agenda and any backup information, she will prepare that and get the packets together, which was really nice.
So in the past for the agenda, we met with the town administrator,
Right.
and even just to keep us on point and maybe even a little direction.
Mhm.
So is that something that is under
We're-
consideration
So
still?
what the Environmental Resource Committee is going to do, they explained that Amy would probably come, because we do need some kind of liaison, even for things like this. Can we contact a tree company and ask them to come?
Mhm.
I don't know, so it was that if we have a list of questions, we could always go to the town administrator afterwards, but there's things that you just need to get them settled now. We don't want to postpone it on the agenda till next time. So we're going to meet ahead of time with the town administrator, like a week ahead, to put together our agenda for the ERC. And if at that point in time there's things in there that he's like, I don't think this is an appropriate thing, that this is probably a council matter, not a committee matter, he can advise us. Or if there's things that he's hearing from council that he would like us to work on, or that they would like us to work on, they can give us that feedback. And so I don't know if there's a way, if there's a liaison that we can work with. And that may be something we can ask the chief, what his thoughts are,
Okay.
just to do an agenda meeting.
Your thoughts? In the past, you've put the agenda together. Have you always had a meeting and discussion?
No.
I had a few with the
Well,
prior town administrator.
I think they were in the meeting. Maybe we come up with the agenda and submit it. I mean,
Well, I think the requirements are that we submit an agenda at least 7 days ahead, because
Yeah.
and Kimberly or whoever the clerk is has to post it to the website and
Okay.
for the public and to have it available for us.
And the minutes have to be in at that same time.
Yeah.
that's the fun part. I think what my opinion is that we just,
What we
I don't
found
think it's
what we
an
found
option
going
not
through
to
them is
adopt the rules.
yeah.
We adopt the rules we're going to adopt, because it's not like we went through the whole thing. I think it's just more of what the explanation of what the rules are. We're not going to change them. We're just following them.
No, right.
And I think as far as the minutes, we record all the minutes, we submit the minutes, and then in advance, as you mentioned, and we submit our agenda in advance. And then I think the question would be, if we need somebody from the town in our meeting, we have to
Mhm.
let them know in advance. So
So we make a motion that we adopt the suggested rules?
I'll make the motion. It's fine. Or you make it.
I'll make the motion that we adopt the suggested rules of procedure.
A second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
But I do think, let's, I'll come up with the agenda based on what we talked about, and you guys, can look at it and see whether or not it makes sense. And then, or if you have items, just send me the items. It'd probably be pretty
or if
much
you
the
want,
same.
because Becky's our vice chair, if you want to run them by her, and
That's
the
fine,
two
I
of you
can do that.
can collaborate and
That's fine.
Yeah.
and then turn them over to Kimberly.
Yep, that would be fine. And then we'll have to have the minutes. And it even says if the draft agenda's together within 2 days before the meeting, we can still add to it, but it'll be posted. So I don't know how that's managed.
Yeah,
She does
I
it.
think the better.
Same team does it.
So
They're just not in the room with us.
that's kind of this, I guess, a state guideline, but in the town, they've requested that we do them 7 days ahead. And then if somebody wants to add to it, they can do that at the meeting, like when we're approving the draft agenda, they can just say, I want to add this item.
Okay. Well, I think it's a good idea for us to, the end of our meeting, summarize
Mhm.
our action items, agenda items even for the next meeting. That'll help us kind of set the stage for it.
Talked about the same thing
Okay.
before. It's a good idea.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
let's do it.
Well, is there new business here?
There is. Well, I'm not saying right this
Oh,
second,
okay.
but
Oh,
just
okay.
meeting moving forward
Yeah,
today
okay.
and moving forward,
Yeah.
let's do it.
The other thing we talked about, and I mean, in ERC is we could do a PowerPoint presentation, but it may not be necessary here because we're a smaller group. I came up with this idea like 3 years ago is getting rid of paper because it's not environmental or whatever, but we don't have to do that.
It's helpful to have all this stuff in front of you at the meeting, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like PDFs and stuff like that I can read, but yeah, writing notes is good as well. It's kind of hard, but it's not necessary. I'm just saying as an idea. May not make sense.
Okay.
Trying to save
So
trees, right?
Steve, I'm lost. Where are we in the agenda?
Okay, so let's go to new business. Responsibility for tree board meeting minutes. We already did that, right, John?
This week.
So next,
Do we have to vote on it? I think we have to vote on it, right? The secretary?
You don't want to know what I'm going to vote then?
No,
No.
it's 3 to 1.
I make a motion to appoint John as secretary.
I second.
Oh, wait a minute. That's not. Okay.
All right, well,
was
you
that,
can always.
was that what you were
You
volunteering
can always
for?
like
Because-
resign
have
from being
discussion.
secretary.
That's right.
Well, the other thing was that we had discussed that we could rotate the responsibility.
That's not always a good thing because you really want the consistent.
I agree.
I
So
think
if you're willing,
you
if
know
you're
what?
willing to do it,
My-
we're more than willing to
My
have
opinion
you
would
do
be
it.
until John says he doesn't want to do it anymore. After this meeting, he might say that. But I would say like let him have the option. Then
I'm just trying to remember how
No
long
problem.
it took you to say that. About 6 months? Like, I'm done.
I watched the same video like 8
I
times.
know, it was awful.
It was boring.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
as long as if we have a vote on that, if I can vote no, so that my wife doesn't say, me, "What the hell were you thinking?"
So all in
Okay.
favor, say aye.
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 Nay.
Nay.
3 to 1.
Okay.
You're in. Okay.
Oh my.
Next item. Develop a tree board executive summary.
So that's where we have our objectives, as we are, really have discussed in old business each meeting since we started meeting in January. And that's where I really think we need to drill down and put together the task associated with those objectives. So, we have our mission statement that the town council in the bylaws, put forth for us, as well as expectations and duties. So that's well defined. And I think we've absolutely all agreed on, okay, our objectives for 2026 are these things that are in the old business area. And now it's really, okay, so what are those? What are those things? So I think if several of us, 2 of us, can get together, and I think also documentation of our activities. I know the town wants to share with the public what we're working on and the progress that we're making. Also, potential opportunities to get involved and volunteer. So once we start the tree inventory, that's something that, we can potentially, get some help. Or if there are other things with the workshop, whatever it is, we're positioned and we're documenting so we can publicize, okay, these are really the things that we're accomplishing. I think it's a matter of sort of documenting our accomplishments. So I've kind of started this. If somebody wants to work with me on it.
I think
I'd be happy to work with you because we're working on some other things that fit in really well with this.
if you forward whatever you come up with to us as well, we can like get any comments.
Oh,
to
sure.
it.
Sure, we just can't all meet on it.
That's fine.
But
Right.
we can maybe forward it to it and then at our next meeting.
So
Talk through it.
I mean, I think it's executive summary would be like what we're doing, but then maybe what our goals and objectives are.
I think, yeah. So the only thing, because you were saying, our old business kind of covers that, I would just say where we've Arbor Day, we need to also say and Tree City, because there's obligations every year for us to maintain that Tree City.
Absolutely. And I think in the draft I had put together, I did include that because
there, okay.
we do have to reapply every year.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Friday's Arbor Day celebration will go into our application for
Right.
2026 designation. So it's always the
Mhm.
year prior that you're receiving the designation for.
Oh, that's interesting.
So,
And if we
Keeps you
do
on your
community
toes.
education,
Yeah.
that's another thing we get points for. And
yeah, we can share that. And as
Mhm.
we talked in 2 meetings ago, there's a growth award as well. And there's a huge amount of opportunities. And Kimberly sent everyone the link. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it. And again, I think this goes into sort of the strategic plan. I'm going to call
I
it
have
that.
to say, personally, I think I lost the link just because I was more focused on the Arbor Day and what we needed to do for this.
Sure.
So I
So-
can recover. Either you can tell me or I'll get it from Kimberly.
We
'Cause I
have
think
the
that'd be
email.
helpful.
I have the
So-
email
Or I can just
still,
look
so
on.
I
I
can
can
send
probably
it.
just look on the website, right, for
Yeah.
Tree City.
I think it was in her minutes as well.
Okay.
So like I said, I'm a technology person at heart, and I thought, so one thing I think would be good, have all the stuff that's available on our Tree City website.
Mhm.
Inside the town, she can customize, we can put links on our website for us to follow, that we just have to go to one page and we can have all the information about the tree board and what we're doing, and goals and objectives, executive summary, everything you're talking about, the Tree City USA. You can pretty easily put that on our internal portal,
Definitely. It's great.
because I have a hard time reading my handwriting and coming back to this stuff. Like I'll read it like a week later, I've got hieroglyphic or encrypted handwriting, and I go, "What did I write there?" I don't even can't read it. So
Just looking at this now and thinking, what the hell is that?
So I think we should put everything on our internal portal or our website. I don't know if she's got control of what we see internally versus what people see externally, but
I didn't know there was an internal portal. I thought it
Oh,
was
no.
all external.
it's external. But there's internal. I mean, you can do it internal and external. I don't know if you can do it on our website here, but I think all this stuff's shareable. I don't think it's like top secret.
Okay, so action coming out of that is you and I work together to flesh out what you've already done, and
Yeah. Yes.
okay.
All right.
Oh, who was that?
Her phone.
Siri.
All right.
Apologize.
Yeah. So I mean, you can do collaboration too,
Mhm.
like online. So I was in the room when we were working with our website. We changed things on the fly here, like in seconds.
Is that something that should go on next time's agenda?
We should
using-
go through
using
our.
the website?
Yeah, we should go through our website and go on to Sunset Beach,
Mhm.
town of sunsetbeach.com. Look at the tree board. See the people, our goals, objectives, all that stuff could be listed there. And I would do it in bullets. I wouldn't put these huge verbose paragraphs,
Mhm.
Uh,
For the next meeting, could you go through, because we can all go through independently, but maybe come in next
what
time and
they're
say,
saying.
here's the things that I would change or that I would add,
I mean,
and then we could go through that as an agenda item.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, I would put all the stuff out here, the maps, everything.
Well, but can you do that kind of like, we're going to do the executive summary, can you do a summary of here's what I think the
Jennifer's gotta do
database.
it, yeah, but I mean, yeah, I can look at it. I'll look at our site and see what Sarah's
Yeah, we
finding.
can't get in and do the database, but we
No,
can
no,
recommend,
no.
here's what we think
But
it
she
should look
can
like.
do it. We were in a room last year and she changed all the whole site like in 30 seconds.
Who did that?
Jennifer.
I don't remember anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can publish all this stuff online, and then if
Well, again, you know what, we don't have the resources today to I'm not familiar enough with what's in there right now, so
I don't know what's in
what
there,
if we all
but
can
like,
take a look at it and then next meeting, put that on the agenda and we'll take a look and see what your thoughts were after you went through?
yeah, I mean,
Because you got the IT slant on it, so,
well, yeah, so you can do that, and then, all the stuff that we
well, I
accumulate.
can't do it, I don't know how.
No,
So-
you don't have to put it on there. We can give it to her. She can put it all on there.
Yeah,
So the next
But we need the
meeting,
recommendations from next meeting.
yeah, you would put together some recommendations and walk us through where you think we could
Yeah.
add to the tree board's
Right,
information that will be helpful to the public.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I would have like us, the goals and objectives, the events, everything. And
okay.
then like if there's an event, they have an email distribution system for everybody in the entire
So
town.
if you put those things together, maybe that's a section where we could ask Amy to come in and take a look with us also, so that it makes sense for events.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every time I ask Amy a question, she has an answer. It's
I
always
know,
a
that's
good
the good thing
answer.
about it.
She's on top of everything.
She really is. Blessing to have her. So are we going on to the corridor, the 904 corridor stuff?
Oh yeah, so I don't know what that's about, but
That's
So,
Becky's area.
I just wanted to report out on it. Back when this started, it was August, September timeframe. I was asked by the town administrator to attend the stakeholder meetings to represent the tree board
Mhm.
with the understanding that the study could eventually maybe lead to some tree planting. So, sounds like you're not aware of it. Candace, I know you participated some. John, were you
No.
involved at all? Okay.
No.
I just wrote up a brief summary. I'm going to fly through it for you. So it was a study of the 904 corridor, which involved representatives from the town. So police chief, the fire department chief, there were some others involved as well, the town administrator, others. The Grand Strand Area Transportation Study that's called GSATS. So they, I guess, overarching, they're involved in these types of projects. They participated. Brunswick County, of course, the Department of Transportation was there. And then Bolton and Mink, that was their project team who put all this together. So all this is out on the town's website. It's all been public information. They've had public meetings. You had the ability to review the plans and respond publicly to those. But essentially what the project was, they examined the section of 904 from Georgetown to Sunset Boulevard, Beach Drive Southwest. And initially it's really all about safety and efficiency, understanding that the town is significantly growing, the needs are going to change. So looking at traffic flow, supporting emergency response access, enhancing bicycle and pedestrian and multimodal options along that part of the corridor. So all this was, part of the study. And then looking at sustainable growth and land use decisions around this particular area. And then also what it does is it gives a roadmap to the town to potentially use for competitive funding opportunities. So I guess there are federal grants and state grants available to help with these projects. So again, population surging, safety is a concern. So ultimately what's going to happen is the project's wrapping up. So we had the last stakeholder meeting. They are going to provide the recommendations to the town council and also, I believe, the planning board to review. And then, this is longer term. It's not happening right away. So some of the recommendations are 0 to 5 years out. Some are 5 to 10, and some are longer than that. But some of the big things that I think are kind of exciting for us and for as residents as well as the tree board, they're recommending a gateway infrastructure. So essentially, it would be like the Welcome to Sunset Beach area, which would be at Georgetown Road. So there would be, signage, lighting, landscaping, potentially some art, if that fits in. So that would be, a redesign of that. They're looking at a number of roundabouts down through there. And I'm not going to go into all the detail, but there will be some roundabouts, reducing the speed limits. And then the thing that I really wanted to talk about, I know that was a lot, but the streetscape enhancements. So the way that they would change the road, potentially in the center of sections of it, they would have a new median that would be raised where shrubs would be planted. Then you would have the road, and then you would have a sidewalk, and on the other side of the sidewalk, tree plantings. So there's a lot of opportunity for, I guess, beautifying that corridor. Um, Also, it's a big improvement for pedestrians and bicyclists, but it gives us an opportunity to maybe have something to look forward to be involved with. And Public Works was at the last meeting. Of course, they were concerned with maintenance of those trees, and depending on where the trees are planted, it sounds like whether it would be the town's responsibility or the state's responsibility. But I believe it will give us an opportunity to maybe make some recommendations about the landscaping and the tree planting in the future.
It is kind of exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's down the road a little bit, but there's,
Hopefully be done in our lifetime.
well, there's a lot of safety, considerations. And then just one last piece about this is, as I mentioned, I talked to a couple of the Department of Transportation employees. And so when it came up about whose responsibility is it to maintain the trees, I asked them on, so I get confused so the road in front of the town hall, is it Sunset Boulevard or Beach Drive? I think it's Beach Drive going that way, Sunset Boulevard going to the bridge. I don't know. But if you notice, there's tree lawn, meaning there's a grassy area with a lot of trees and then the sidewalk. So it's a state highway. So my question was, okay, who maintains it? And right now, really no one, unless there's a safety issue, then currently the town, would take action, but the state doesn't. So I asked, well, what if down the road, a lot of it Mother Nature planted, there's, multiples trees in there. What if we wanted to do a nice tree lawn with street tree planting? And, they said that sometimes they do memorandum of understandings with towns if we would want to take something like that on. So again, maybe not our lifetime, maybe way down the road, but I wanted to ask, what
But
about
it's
these areas if we want to plant our, more
Well,
tree
They're
because
gonna have
canopy?
that
there's
issue.
areas along state roadways that aren't 904, whoops, and that we could look at. I like that, what you found out, that potentially there could be a memorandum, because remember when Amy wanted to do that LA of trees
Right.
as you come in, to make it, just to have a beautiful area coming in, but it
Mhm.
was along state roadway. Maybe that's something we could, not right now because we got enough on our plate, but
Right.
look at.
Right.
Well, it'd be interesting to see, once all those, I see all these pipes sticking out of the
Mhm.
ground where they're in all these neighborhoods where they're putting in hundreds of homes.
Yeah,
It's gonna be interesting to see what the traffic and
that's
congestion.
scary.
Because I noticed, like, I was gone for 4 weeks, and I noticed I came back, and this is like slow season, and the
Mhm.
traffic just
Yeah.
pulling out on the road is
Gets hard to get
difficult.
out.
Yeah, I mean it's like continuous cars
Hmm.
coming down even Sunset Boulevard, and then over, like, Georgetown Road between Calabash and Shallotte. It's gonna be like,
Yeah, it's already
I mean,
bad.
and you see all those new homes going in.
Mhm.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, we're not as affected by it, I think, right here as
Except you are, because we don't have a lot of crossroads.
Right,
There's only
right.
like two
right.
ways in and out, and
I had to go over to Ocean Isle because I had
Mhm.
some property. I mean,
Mhm.
and I couldn't get over there in the summertime because the traffic was backed up for miles every Saturday.
yeah, it's
All right, so that's all I had on the
All right.
904.
So,
And then Candace, did you want to
The
talk about the
Bradford
tree
Pier.
bounty? Yeah.
so are there going to be like upcoming meetings to kind of give updates on it, or are they just
So everything is out on the website. There have been public forum meetings already where the public
Okay.
was able to make the recommendations. The next step through April and May is to make the presentations to town council and the planning board, I believe. And then from there, it's nothing is set in stone. It's just here's a potential
plan.
roadmap of here's some
Yeah.
your residents have spoken. This is what the state can do. This is the feds have looked at it. They had representation that GSAT has looked at it as well. They've been involved. So
And then they're supposed to build like this Carolina Bays Parkway. It's supposed to like end at
maybe in your life.
Yeah,
Maybe not.
not in our children's lifetime, probably.
yeah. Okay.
Very-
Anyway, the next item on the agenda is the North Carolina Bradford Pear Bounty Program. I don't.
So the Bradford pears have been designated an invasive species. When they first brought them into like commercial production, they were thought to be a sterile tree, so it would be a great thing in people's landscapes because they're not going to be reproducing. They're just the one you plant. But what they find is, first off, it's not a very stable tree. The form lends itself to cracking and breaking easily.
Right. Right.
And they are also, while that tree itself doesn't reproduce itself, it interbreeds with other trees, and they are everywhere. So a lot of the states, South Carolina does this, North Carolina, they have bounty programs to see if we can convince homeowners remove those trees out of the landscape. You know, they're not good trees, and if you will remove it, we'll give you a tree to replace it. In North Carolina, the way that it works is there is a state agency that does this. It's called the North Carolina Bradford Pear Tree Bounty Program, and the state will provide trees. So if a homeowner takes a picture of the Bradford pear tree in his yard, cuts it down, shows a picture of the cut down tree and where it came from, and they might have to bring some material, I can't remember, but then they have to go to one of these state events, and the state's like, great, you meet the criteria, here's a tree for you, and they give you, I think they said it's like a 3 to 7 gallon size tree. So not a tiny, not like the trees we gave away at our first thing. So, but it may not be the size of Bradford pear you took out, and it may not be a variety that you prefer, but you can at least find out about it. You can replace up to 5 trees a year. The state does 4 events. I think the 3 they mentioned they have coming up. One is in Asheville, Hendersonville, and
So you have to go to the event.
Lewis, I think was the name of the town. You have to go to those sites with your things and pick up a tree there. They have an option that a local community like Sunset Beach could sponsor one and work with the state on it.
Yeah.
But then the town has to pay for all those trees.
Oh.
And they have to man the event.
Is there a lot of Bradford pears here? I don't know.
Well, there are, and now's actually a good time. You can drive around and kind of see them because
Yeah,
they're blooming right
flowers.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
But-
one in
but
my
I don't know.
side yard,
Do you?
Chop it down.
and it's got an X on it that it can come down. I'm just looking for a tree company, but I'm not driving to Asheville
So-
to get a 3 gallon.
Yeah, well,
replacement.
kind of the initial feedback that we received, because Becky and I had worked on this and got a little bit of feedback from some of the council members that maybe the best thing for us to do, Sunset Beach can't sponsor it. And plus, I don't think we can limit it. If we did it, we can't say it's only Sunset Beach people. Other people can come because we'd be a site. And it could be pretty expensive if you're giving those trees are not cheap. So we'd have to get sponsors galore. Anyway, we could put a link to this program on our website, on the town's website, and say, if you have a Bradford pear tree and you are interested in receiving a new tree to replace it, here's where you go.
That's a good idea.
So should we move that we would like to put this on our website, or is there anybody with other ideas on that?
No, I would say that we shouldn't invest in replacing the trees, but give people the ability to do it.
Give them the information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that approach to at least support the cause by putting it out on the website, giving them the locations and
Okay.
providing that information, a little bit of education around it.
I haven't seen any Bradford pears around me, but maybe they exist. I'm just not paying attention.
I walked through Sea Trail and I was trying to count them and I lost track, I'll be honest. There are a lot of them.
Yeah. I was
They're
surprised
flowering
because when
white right now.
when it first came up, I didn't think that there were that many.
Only
Now that
We'll
they're
just go down
flowering,
there
look
at night
around,
and
they
cut
are.
them down.
I don't think you're going to get much of a
Chainsaw.
response. Most of these sites seem to
We'll
be
call
in
Davy Tree.
Western North Carolina. People are not going to
Well,
drive,
y-
you know.
I would put it, I
Here's
think
an
it's a great idea.
Put it on the website so they
I
have
think
the
step
option.
one would be to put it on the website.
Yeah,
And
and then there's an option, you can request that the state do a sponsored event, but they said the backlog right now is, everybody wants them. The backlog is so long that, well, you could be waiting 10 years from now, we might get to you. So,
I would put it on the website.
Well, maybe the true message is, the removal of Bradford calorie pears and why.
mhm.
And, you know,
That-
there are
and that's-
others to
that's in
plant.
That's in that website. I mean, It's in that bounty program. It
Yeah.
explains why,
Yeah, I would-
why you would
It
want to do
explains it
this.
well.
I would probably say, Bradford pears are an invasive species, and here's a program to get rid of them. And then they want to drive to Asheville to pick up a tree.
Maybe there's a way, as we're looking at the executive summary, to just say, we recognize we have invasive species in the area, and we will try to give people a place to go for education about them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then link to it from there. We can figure that out. But
Okay. That sounds like a good plan.
so do we need a motion, or we can just say we want to put it there? I
It's
don't
this
know.
low-hanging fruit that we can do, just put it on now.
Yeah, that's
somehow.
what I think.
I would just put it on the website. I don't know that we.
We're not, other than putting it on the website, we're not taking additional action. So
Right. So we could.
I think we should,
agree that we
like I
think
said,
should
I
be on
can
the-
look at the
Yeah.
website. I figure
Mhm.
come up with ideas how to organize the information so that makes sense.
add that to your list.
Yeah.
Who's going to do it?
Does Kimberly do the website? Who does it?
I said Jennifer, I meant Kimberly.
I think it's Kimberly.
I think so too. So
It
I
was
can-
for a while.
It's
I
Kimberly.
can-
It's
I can
Kimberly.
ask her.
She's really good with
Yeah,
it. She
and
can,
so I'll ask her. I don't know if
she'll
she
do
can-
anything you want to with the
well,
website.
I'm sure
I don't
she
know
has
why I said
guidelines that she follows. So I guess what I would have to do is ask her. I can give her the website itself if she wants to put a link, but she may have to get approval to do that. I just don't know her procedure, but
Yeah.
I will get her the information.
Well, I like your suggestion though. So if Steve's coming to the next meeting
Mhm.
with a review of the website, we're going to all look at it together.
Yeah, put
To
that as
maybe
an
give it all
agenda
to her
item,
at
so if-
once.
Okay.
You know,
And just leave it there.
Well,
rather
it
than
might be
piecemeal
bare
it.
bones at this point,
Mhm.
and we just need to figure out what we want to put on there.
Is that so? Should we see if Kimberly would want to come to that for that agenda item?
That'd be a good idea.
Do you want
She could pull it up and we could just redesign it right in the room when they're sitting here.
Do you
well,
want
we
to
need a
talk to her
preview
about
of
it
it
so that
first.
Yeah.
So that
Well,
she knows what
I
you're doing?
mean, she can preview it, but I was in the room with her and we did the ERC thing, and it probably needs to ERC probably needs
Well,
to read.
if you're like me, you don't want a surprise dumped on you. I wouldn't want to walk into a room and somebody says redesign this website
Well, it's not like
while I'm sitting there.
it's basically plug and play. It's like,
I hear you, Steve, but give her a heads up.
no, we can give her a heads up.
Well,
Yeah,
what-
Okay.
we can give her. I'm just saying,
see
but
what
it's
she
not.
recommends.
The way it's set up is that we could sit here and talk about it with her in the room and then do it later. But if we wanted to put that on, or she could do it in a second.
I think though maybe the more logical approach is that we first look at it ourselves and agree what we would like
That's fine.
additionally on the website, and
That's
then
fine.
get with her.
Yeah, but the only image I'm trying to create is that she knows how to do it, and she could do it like
Okay.
quickly.
Hmm.
If we want, like that second, she could do it. It's not like it's not like old days where you had to hire a company to come in and redesign the whole website. It's plug and play.
So are we all going to just review it and then make comments, or? how are we
Yeah, I
gonna do
mean,
that?
whatever, you can look at it. I there's probably nothing there right now. I can pull it up right now.
Well, let's wait for the next meeting so we
Yeah.
can
Okay, that's fine.
get our
We can
agenda
finish
together
this
and bring to
agenda,
closure.
yeah. So just to be clear on the Bradford Pear program, are you suggesting that we wait and just include that when we do the overall changes, or I should go ahead and give it to Kimberly now, or talk to her about it now?
It sounds like you want to go over it at the next meeting before we do that.
Well, that was my thought, but I don't want to. I guess, do you feel like there's a sense of urgency based on our?
No, I'm just asking what's the will of the group,
Sure,
because it also makes sense to wait
I
and do
think
all
it's-
these changes at once.
right. Because I guess I'm thinking maybe there are some categories where we have external.
Mhm.
That's going to be an external website. Maybe we have a number that we want listed, so
Yeah.
we'll have a better idea to say, okay, let's put all three of these. So like the National Arbor Day
Mhm.
Foundation that talks about the Tree City of the USA designation, I think it would be great to have a link out there. People can go look at it themselves.
Well, why don't we look at it, and then we can make the final decision at the next meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good. That's why we have to have a secretary. Keeping us on task.
Haven't even started.
All right.
Looking at the, well,
So do we want to talk about the action items for our next meeting?
Once you summarize them, because I think you do a good job of that.
So, well, some of these are action items and some, I guess, are agenda items. So action items, I'm going to reach out to the Treaty City USA towns, I won't name them all, to see if they have information on if they have street inventories and if they've done them. Candace, you're going to check with the extension to see if they have any inventory
Great.
presentations potentially.
Mhm.
We're going to touch base with the chief to determine if we can bring an outside vendor in to speak to us about tree inventories. So we didn't assign that one. I can take that.
So I
Not to interrupt you, it just FYI, all it has is our general purpose mission statement on there, which is really verbose and everything, which we could bury in there. Then it has us listed. That's all there is for the tree board.
Okay.
And
Well, the
it has
executive
all of our
summary should be
terms
helpful.
expiring next month.
I think some do, and they were staggered. You might not have been here at the meeting where we were asking about that, and I think two terms were 1-year terms, 3 are 2-year terms. I don't think when they appointed us it was determined, and I think they're trying to figure out.
Okay.
But I believe they're starting the recruitment process for 2 tree board members. So whatever they decide, if you know, we need to know to reapply if we're the person that's expiring and we want to continue.
All right. Anyway, just my only comment on the web. I'm sorry to interrupt you, by the way, but is there's nothing there. So it's
Okay.
wide open.
Okay.
There's a mission statement and us. That's it. There's no
Well, that's
information.
great, because then, so it's kind of like an open book for you. What the way that you would like to see it would be a good place for us to start.
Yeah, the mission statement I would bury because it's not that critical, but all these other things we're working on are a lot more critical.
So that's your action item, Steve,
I'll-
is to
I'll-
go through that
I'll look at
website and come back to us with some of your thoughts, and we will all individually look at it as well.
Okay,
And come back with our
Okay.
thoughts.
that's fine. Sorry, keep going.
Um,
One of mine is to do also talk to Extension about any kind of a tree training that they can do for us.
So like a tree ID.
Identification, disease,
Okay.
stress signs, or whatever.
And then Candace, you and I are going to work on a executive summary.
Right.
We'll come up with a better name. Strategic plan, executive summary, something. So really, topics for our next meeting are the website. You know, based on the individual meetings that we have. So Susan will be back, and I'm sure she's going to want to pursue some of the tree inventory items.
So the old business would be we still talk about educate. We still probably review all this stuff to see where we are, I would think. Old business would be educational opportunities, tree inventory. Probably recap of the Arbor Day celebration. I said I'd be responsible for this, or help out with the sponsorships and partnerships.
Yep.
5.5 is off, which was we already agreed on the procedures. The minutes is off because we've decided John is an outstanding secretary who wants a permanent job doing it for the next 3 years. No, I'm joking. Development, you said the executive summary is on there. The 904 corridor, we probably don't need to have on there next time because we talked about it.
Yep.
The website. I'm re-summarizing what you summarized, just looking at this thing.
Oh, it's fine.
Oh, sorry. Oh my God. Sorry about the microphone. Okay.
So, and depending on our work over the next month, we may be able to have some presentations around a tree inventory. So whether Justin Bennett or after talking to
The extension.
Yeah. And then finding out if we can bringing in vendors or not. Those could
Right.
be potential new business items that we could follow
Yeah.
up on.
So just, I mean, just looking at, going back to the website, look at the ERC website, like this is a good example. There's more stuff on the ERC if you go to the ERC portion. But then they have the presentation that we had with the North Carolina Coastal. It's on there, saved on there with all the slides and everything.
Okay.
I mean, that's on the ERC, so any presentations we have or do that we want to share with the public, we can put it on the website.
I'm sorry, I wasn't clear what new business is going to be what.
So far, the website, possibly presentations for this tree inventory, depending on our work over the next month of, making those contacts and getting those types of things scheduled.
Now you're repeating stuff that's already under old business.
It is under old business, so
It's kind of old/new.
We'll leave it in old.
I had something that came to mind. And
Because old business here I've
lost
got
it.
is the educational opportunities, the tree inventory,
Website.
recap of Arbor Day, website, and sponsorships.
Yeah.
Do we have anything that we classify as new business? We just have old business to talk about. Happens.
Yeah. Well, I think something could come
Well,
up over the course of the next month.
A
So
lot of those old business items are ongoing because it takes time.
Tree inventory is going to be on here for quite a while.
Yeah.
That's why they're old business.
yeah. What about Green Wave? That's coming up in May.
That's a good idea.
So that
Yeah.
needs to be
Yeah.
discussed what the tree board is going to do
I know you
specifically.
had some thoughts about that.
We talked about it a little bit when you and I got together.
Yeah.
So we'll want to dial that in. I will not be here. I won't be in
Okay.
Ohio that day. So that's,
For the Greenway?
yes.
Okay.
Mm.
Did
I
we
have a
talk
great
about
nephew
just
coming.
one booth for that?
We talked about
Is it going to be shared now with the town or separate? I
not the
can't remember.
town. That was Sunset at Sunset. So we talked about actually having a tree board.
Booth?
And maybe if the Forest Service does come, putting it next to the Forest Service, and then have a separate, so being separate from ERC or joining in, depending on how much content we come up with by May 9th.
And how we can staff,
Yes,
because the three of us also will have some responsibility for the ERC.
right.
Mm.
And Susan, we'll
Yeah,
have
she
to
can't
find out
be-
if she's
She can't be
available.
all there all day.
No, not all by herself. I
But
wasn't
maybe
suggesting
we
that.
could put her next to us, because then we could cross cover.
Rotate.
Sure, which that
We'll
might
have
make
to
more
see-
sense
Yeah, we'll
anyway.
have to see how it works out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so is there anything else in the new business?
Greenwave, is that where you put that? Because that's where I would put Greenwave as a final discussion and determination of what tree board wants to present there.
So that would go under new business, Greenway.
Yeah, don't you think? Because we haven't really
Agree.
done that.
So you might want to, as far as like sending out the summary, I mean, it'd be good to get it like in a week or so. I mean, just because a lot of times
Not only did he give you a job, now he's giving you the.
Giving
The
me deadlines.
timeline.
it's not
Wow.
done in a week. No, no. My only point is that I've got my notes here, so it gives me kind of us a framework of what we need to follow up on. It's up to you.
I used to do minutes for meetings and committees all the time, and I always found that if you did them within 2 days,
Easier.
you didn't forget anything.
Yeah.
But it all depends.
Well, I think if we
How
got
soon
it
they
in
get
one
a
day,
transcript.
But if you wait 2 weeks, then you're having to go back and watch YouTube 15 times.
Great.
I will
Soon as we
admit I'm
leave,
not
it's
a good-
available. As soon as we're done, it's available.
Okay.
So you'll have it.
okay. All right.
How do I
Any
get a copy of
public
that?
comments?
Nope.
I think our goal should be to get public to show up at our meetings.
There's a good goal. Everybody bring a friend, ask a friend, bring a friend.
Make it, mix it up a little
And
bit.
also, well, get some activities for volunteers and get people excited about
The tree
trees on
board
Sunset
decided to
Beach.
cut down all the trees in the entire town, then I'll show up. No, I'm joking. I'm
Mm.
joking. All right. All right. So with that,
Motion to adjourn?
second. All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Guys.